What is good? In this video, we will be making the world's renowned programming question, FizzBuzz. It is a very common programming question just in general and testing your abilities. And even when I was applying to boot camps, that was a question that was asked 3 times. So it's good to know. It covers for loops. It covers basic JavaScript notations such as variables. And it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it, and we will be getting started with it. And again, it'll be in JavaScript, and I'll walk you through everything you need to know. I'll even include notes and the GitHub repository in the description below, just so you know what is up. Now, with that being said, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's just get started with the coding. So obviously the first thing we want to do is create our file, and I'm gonna remove this because it was just for the intro. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is the imports. So open up your Finder or whatever file thing you have and just create a new folder. Just go down here, new folder, and let's just call it FizzBuzz, okay? And what you want to do is open up VS Code or whatever the code editor is and just drag the file here. So now we have this, and everything here is from FizzBuzz. Obviously, the first thing we need to create is the JavaScript file. You can name it whatever you want, just make sure it ends in JS. So I'll just call it script.js. And now it's time for the imports. So to run JavaScript in your terminal and for it to work, the most common one is Node.js. It's a time runner and basically just runs your JavaScript. Think of it like that, okay? So all we need to do is install Node.js in our terminal. All you have to do is write npm in the terminal, npm install Node, okay? I'm going slow because I used to mess this up. Just know that, okay? npm install Node, and it should work. There we go. It installed, okay? All right, so now that we have our script.js file and our Node ready, now it's time to actually just start coding, okay? All we need to do is start with the function, right? So we'll just call it FizzBuzz. And the parameters will be user input. So whatever the user inputs. And then we can open up the thing, okay? Next thing we need to do, right, is the counter and the loop. So I'll just do this. We'll just go for let current number equals 1. Current number user input current number plus plus. So what's going on here is we're looping through each number in the user input. So whatever the user inputs, let's say it's 50, it's going through each number 1 2 3 4 5, and it's just looping through 1 2 3 4 5 until it reaches the user input number, until it reaches 50. That's all that's happening, okay? Next thing we want to do is check if the number is divisible by 3 and 5, okay? So the first thing we want to do is say if current number is divisible by 3, and this is how we do it, and current number is divisible by 5, console.log FizzBuzz. Okay, so if you don't know what this is, it's called remainder. And what we are doing here, let's say we're on the number 9, right? 9 remainder 3 is equal to 0 because 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 9, and the remainder numbers are equal to 0. There's no more numbers. But let's say it's 8, then 8 is not divisible by 3. So there's going to be a number other than 0 that is left after we add as many 3s as we can within 8. A simpler way to think about it is to look at it like this. All you're saying is you're taking the current number, you're checking if it's divisible by 3, and this just means it's divisible by 3, okay? Let's just think of it like that. And here, all you're saying is the current number is divisible by 5, okay? Just think of it that way. It's much easier. It gets a little confusing, but just look at it that way, okay? And if both are true, which is key, then we're getting FizzBuzz. Then what we're doing is we're saying else if current number is divisible by 3, console.log fizz, okay? Then what we're doing is we're saying else if current number is divisible by 5, just like that, then we are logging buzz, okay? And then else just console.log the current number, okay? To explain the program step by step, all we're doing is we're looping through each number within the user inputs. So let's say they input 50, we're looping through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 50 until we reach something above 50, which is 51. And as soon as we reach 51, the program stops. In the meantime, as long as it's under 51, we're looping through each number starting at 1. If the number is divisible by 3 and divisible by 5, both have to be true, then it'll output FizzBuzz. So 15 would be an example. But if it's not divisible by 3 or 5, the program will check if the number is divisible by 3. If it is, great, it'll output fizz. If it isn't, it'll go to number 5. And if it is divisible by 5, it'll output it'll output buzz. And if it's not divisible by 3, not divisible by 5, or divisible by both, then it'll output the current number. So let's just give this a little test. FizzBuzz, and let's say the user inputs 50, right? And here's how you run a Node app, okay? Node, you have to write Node after we installed Node, right? We have to install Node. Then script.js. So this is whatever the file name is, okay? Just make sure you write this file name.js. Then look what happened, okay? We started, so the user input was 50, okay? So it goes through 1. It's not divisible by 3 or 5, so it's 1. 2, not divisible by 3 or 5, good. 3 is obviously divided, 3 is divisible by 3, so it outputs fizz. 4, and then when you get to 5, it's buzz. Buzz is divisible by 5 because 5 is divisible by 5. Then what's interesting is when we get to 15, it's FizzBuzz because it's divisible by 3 and it's divisible by 5. So I hope you guys got value from this. I mean, it's a rather simple one. All you're doing is you're looping through each thing. And I hope you understood what remainder is. It's a little bit of a confusing subject, but look it up if you're still confused. But you're just checking if it's divisible by that number, which if it is, the remainder will be 0 because it's divisible by that number. Anyways, that has been the video. Again, I'll leave the GitHub repository in the description down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.